Welcome back, everyone, to another deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at Islamic microfinance.
Okay.
And specifically, we'll be diving deep into a report from the International Fund for Agricultural Development, or IFA.
Right.
And the report's called Islamic Microfinance, Unlocking New Potential to Fight Rural Poverty. So really looking at how this kind of finance can combat poverty in rural areas.
Yeah, and this report is fascinating because it really delves into what sets Islamic finance apart. It's not about those fixed interest rates we see everywhere else.
Yeah.
Instead, it's all about these asset-based approaches.
Interesting.
And this unique approach is catching on globally.
It really is. The report actually highlights how much it's grown.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's like a $1.3 trillion industry now.
Wow.
I know it's attracting everyone from Islamic banks to commercial banks with Islamic finance windows, and even those big international institutions like IFA.
It's really interesting to see how that's evolved.
Absolutely. And the report emphasizes that it's not just about the financial side. It's very much tied to social welfare and justice.
Makes sense.
And honestly, what really got me hooked were the case studies.
Oh, the case studies are fascinating. They really put things into perspective.
They do. They show the real impact.
Exactly.
Like there's one from Sudan. It focuses on the Agricultural Bank of Sudan Microfinance Initiative.
ABSUMI.
Yes, ABSUMI.
And their results have been incredible. They've achieved a 100% repayment rate among their women borrowers.
100%. I mean, that's practically unheard of in traditional microfinance.
I know.
How do they do it?
Well, I think a big part of it is empowerment.
Yeah.
They're giving out these loans that average about $130, specifically targeting the most disadvantaged groups.
So it's not just about the money itself.
Not at all. They're really investing in activities.
Like what kinds of activities?
Agriculture, livestock, and microenterprises.
So they're actually giving people the means to build sustainable livelihoods.
Exactly. And it's working. They're seeing great success in mobilizing savings.
It is amazing.
And they're even planning to expand the initiative further.
So they're putting their money where their mouth is when it comes to social welfare and justice.
Absolutely. They're a great example.
Now, the report also talked about these Senadikis operating in Syria.
Right. Senadiki, these are essentially self-governing village funds.
Like totally independent.
Yeah. It's a fantastic example of communities coming together to support each other financially. And women play a huge role in these.
So it's like these little self-sufficient financial ecosystems within the villages.
Exactly.
I can only imagine how impactful that must be, especially in a place like Syria.
It's been hugely successful. They've managed to achieve a 98% repayment rate.
Wow.
With over 6,600 shareholders.
Okay, it's incredible.
And the best part is they're doing this all without relying on external funding.
Self-sufficient and successful.
You got it.
Before we move on, I do want to touch upon the specific modalities of Islamic microfinance.
Sure.
The report mentions murabaha, musharaka, mudaraba. They sound so different from traditional lending.
They are. They're rooted in these Islamic principles.
Okay.
And they steer clear of fixed interest rates.
So how does that work? Like with murabaha, for example?
So murabaha involves an asset-based sale with a profit margin that's decided beforehand.
I see.
You can think of it like a partnership, where both sides share the risks and the rewards.
So it's much more collaborative.
Exactly. It's not just a straightforward loan.
And what about musharaka?
Musharaka takes collaboration even further. It's all about a profit and loss sharing partnership.
So the lender is really invested in the borrower's success.
That's the idea. It aligns with those Islamic principles of social responsibility.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, right.
But what about those situations where someone needs financial help, but they're not starting a business or buying an asset? What then?
That's where mudaraba and qard hassan come in.
Oh.
Mudaraba is like trust-based financing. One party gives the capital, the other manages the project, and they share the profits.
Interesting.
And then there's qard hassan,
which is?
It's an interest-free loan specifically for people facing hardship.
Oh, so like a safety net.
Exactly. Short-term financial assistance without the burden of interest.
It seems like Islamic microfinance takes this holistic approach to financial well-being.
Absolutely.
But is it scalable? Can these principles work for bigger businesses as well?
The report actually has a great example from Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it features the MS Alam company.
What do they do?
They're a meat processing company.
Yeah.
And they successfully used Islamic microfinance to modernize and expand.
Interesting. So it's not just for small-scale projects then?
Not at all.
How did they do it?
They worked with Bosnia Bank International, or BBI.
Okay.
And BBI used a combination of musharaka and ijara.
Ijara.
It's a leasing agreement.
Oh, okay.
This helped MS Salem upgrade their facilities and boost production.
Wow.
And it led to growth job creation and even helped them get halal certification.
So they're tapping into a specific market with that. That's a fantastic example of how adaptable Islamic finance can be.
Definitely.
But for those who are really struggling financially, what makes Islamic microfinance so appealing?
One major advantage is risk sharing.
How so?
Well, instead of the borrower carrying all the risk,
Yeah.
it's divided between them and the lender. This makes it way more equitable and less burdensome.
Especially for those who are already struggling.
Exactly.
It takes away that fear of crippling debt, which is a huge problem with regular loans.
Right.
So besides that risk-sharing aspect, are there other benefits?
Yeah, for sure. One big one is that the repayment rates are fixed. That creates transparency.
Right.
And importantly, it prevents any exploitative interest practices.
Because interest is a big no-no in Islamic finance.
Yeah, exactly.
So it protects borrowers from falling into those cycles of debt.
Exactly. Which, as you know, is a huge problem with many conventional lending systems.
It sounds like it's not just about giving financial access, but also ensuring that things are fair and ethical.
Exactly. It's about doing things the right way.
And even more than that, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Like the focus on social welfare and justice that's baked into the principles leads to fair treatment overall.
Definitely.
Even if someone can't repay a loan.
Exactly.
It's not about punishing people.
Not at all.
It's about support and uplifting communities.
And that's the heart of it.
So no exploitation, just empowerment.
That's the goal.
But realistically, can we really scale this up? Can Islamic microfinance go beyond these niche initiatives and actually make a difference in global poverty?
Well, the report has some encouraging examples.
Oh, like what?
Well, ABSUMI in Sudan, they're planning a major expansion.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're aiming to reach 150,000 households in the next 5 years.
That's ambitious.
It is. But they've got a great track record.
And they're looking to mobilize $10 million in savings, too, right?
Exactly. Showing the potential for real sustainable growth.
Are there any other big developments happening globally?
Definitely. IFAD and the Islamic Development Bank are teaming up on new projects in Azerbaijan.
Cool.
Using all sorts of modalities like istisna for irrigation systems and qard al-hassan for microcredit services.
So these international institutions are working directly with local communities.
Exactly. It's essential for scaling up and creating that lasting impact.
It's great to see that progress.
Absolutely.
But I think it's important to be realistic.
Of course.
Islamic microfinance isn't a magic solution.
You're right.
It's still pretty young and faces its own set of challenges.
Yeah, definitely.
What are some of the hurdles holding it back?
Well, I think one of the biggest ones is awareness. A lot of people, even in the development sector, don't really know about it.
So it's like this hidden gem.
Yeah, exactly. We need to break down those knowledge barriers and showcase the successes.
Show people what it can really do.
Exactly. Another challenge is the lack of standardized regulations.
Oh.
That can make it tough for institutions to operate across borders and get more investment.
Yeah, having clear, consistent guidelines is crucial.
Absolutely.
What else are we up against?
There's also the potential for mission drift.
What does that mean?
As these institutions grow, they might start focusing more on profits and less on social good.
So losing sight of the original mission.
Exactly. Keeping that balance between financial sustainability and social impact is key.
It's a tightrope walk for sure.
It really is.
Yeah.
But despite these challenges, I think Islamic microfinance has so much to offer.
It's not just about giving out loans.
Right.
It's about creating a fairer financial system.
You got it. It really flips the script on traditional lending.
Also,
It emphasizes partnership, shared responsibility, and ethical practices.
that's a powerful combination.
It is. And it's that holistic approach that makes it so impactful.
Especially for those who have been shut out of traditional systems.
Exactly. It gives them a chance.
Earlier, we touched on those great case studies like ABSUMI
Mm-hmm.
in Sudan and those Sanadik in Syria.
All right.
What can we learn from their success?
Well, I think it shows how important context-specific solutions are.
So what works in one place might not work in another.
Exactly. It's about understanding the local needs, the cultural nuances, and tailoring Islamic finance principles accordingly.
It's about adapting the approach, not the core principles.
Precisely.
Besides tailoring solutions, what else makes these initiatives successful?
Community ownership is huge.
Hmm.
When people are invested and understand the principles behind it,
Yeah.
they're more likely to participate and ensure it succeeds.
We saw that with both ABS-UMI and Sanadik.
Exactly. They foster that sense of responsibility and empowerment.
It's about trust and transparency.
Absolutely.
But scaling up needs more than just good intentions.
You're right.
We need concrete strategies, collaboration, innovation.
Absolutely.
So what are some of the most promising avenues for expanding Islamic microfinance?
Technology is a game changer.
In what way?
Things like mobile banking and digital platforms can make financial services more accessible and affordable, especially in those remote areas.
I see.
It bridges the gap for those excluded from traditional banking.
Meeting people where they are.
Exactly.
Are there any good examples of technology being used effectively?
Definitely. There are some really cool initiatives in Indonesia using blockchain technology.
Wow.
They're creating these transparent and secure microfinance platforms. It helps build trust and reduces the risk of fraud.
Which is crucial for investors.
Absolutely.
So technology can make it more efficient and accessible.
It's a powerful tool.
But it's not enough on its own right.
Right. We also need to build strong partnerships.
Right.
Islamic financial institutions, international development organizations, governments.
To share knowledge and resources?
Yes, exactly. We need to work together to maximize impact.
But then there's still that awareness problem.
Yeah.
How do we get people excited about this?
Storytelling.
Oh, okay.
We need to show the human impact of these initiatives.
The real stories.
Yes. The lives transformed, the communities empowered. When people see those tangible benefits and understand the ethical foundation, they're more likely to embrace it.
Show, don't tell.
Exactly.
Hearing those inspiring stories is key.
It is.
But we also need to be upfront about the challenges.
Absolutely. Transparency is crucial.
So no sugarcoating.
No. We need to talk about the risks involved and the fact that it's not a magic bullet.
Right.
It takes careful planning, dedicated implementation, and a willingness to learn and adapt.
It's an evolving field with a ton of potential.
It really is.
But it's not without its complexities.
It's true.
And that brings us to an important question for all of you listening.
Okay.
As we continue exploring this fascinating world of Islamic microfinance,
Right.
we want you to think about this. Could the principles and practices of Islamic microfinance be applied in your own community?
Think about the challenges you see around you.
Poverty, inequality.
Lack of opportunity.
Right. Could these innovative financial models be adapted to address those issues?
It's a good question.
Could they empower individuals and communities in new ways?
It's not just about copying what's already out there.
Right.
It's about sparking curiosity. Thinking critically about how Islamic finance can create positive change.
So, like, what could we do?
Well, maybe you could support a local organization.
Okay.
One that aligns with these values.
Donate to them.
Yeah. Or volunteer your time or expertise.
To help them grow.
Exactly.
Or even start something totally new.
Like what?
Maybe a community-based lending circle.
Interesting.
Or a micro-investment fund focused on social enterprises.
That's a cool idea.
The possibilities are endless.
They really are.
But it all starts with awareness,
Right.
with understanding what Islamic microfinance is all about.
And its potential.
Exactly.
So let this be a starting point.
For your own exploration.
Exactly. Read more, ask questions, challenge assumptions.
Don't be afraid to dig deep.
Right. And share what you learn with others.
Spark those conversations.
Advocate for change.
Because the world is full of problems.
It is.
But it's also full of solutions.
Absolutely.
And sometimes those solutions come from the most unexpected places.
It's true.
Islamic microfinance is a perfect example.
I agree.
It reminds us that finance can be a force for good.
It can empower people.
And be a catalyst for positive change.
It really can.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Islamic microfinance.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you're leaving feeling inspired.
And informed.
Ready to make a difference in your own way.
Absolutely.
Until next time, keep exploring.
Keep questioning.
And keep believing in the power of possibilities. So we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
From the principles of Islamic finance to its real-world impact.
Those case studies were amazing.
They were. They really showed how Islamic microfinance is making a difference.
Empowering communities.
Creating opportunities.
And promoting social good.
It's a reminder that finance can be a tool for positive change.
Absolutely.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, we want to leave you with this thought.
Okay. I'm listening.
How can you be a part of this movement?
Good question.
How can you use your knowledge and resources to support Islamic microfinance? Maybe you can volunteer.
Yeah.
donate,
Spread the word.
or even start your own initiative.
The possibilities are there.
We encourage you to explore them.
And see how you can contribute to a more just and equitable world.
Thanks for joining us today.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you've learned something new.
And we hope you'll join us again for another deep dive into a fascinating topic.
Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep making the difference.
See you next time.